Welcome to the debate. Today, we are analyzing the multi-sided marketplace of Work Travel Academy. This is an ecosystem fundamentally designed to replace the traditional hiring resume with what they are calling a verification economy.
Right, and we're looking at a highly interconnected architecture here. One that takes unverified tech talent, puts them on the road as digital nomads, and then pairs them with local businesses that are seeking affordable AI automation.
Exactly. So the central question we are unpacking today is this. Does this architecture represent a revolutionary, sustainable solution to the modern hiring crisis, or is it a precarious balancing act fraught with execution risks for its users?
And to set the context, this analysis emerges directly from the strategic marketing architecture's business case files and go-to-market blueprints of Work Travel Academy.
I will be arguing that this platform brilliantly aligns the incentives of its four distinct target audiences. It delivers real value by replacing obsolete, trust-based credentials with cryptographically verified agentic proof of work.
And I will argue that, while the critique of the legacy hiring apparatus is incredibly accurate, the proposed value proposition is structurally fragile. It places entirely unrealistic expectations on junior talent and offers highly risky execution for the business sponsors involved.
Let's start by mapping out exactly who we are talking about here, because the architecture relies entirely on this audience segmentation. The source material refers to this as the four gates. You have the builder, which is the junior talent. You have the sponsor, representing small and medium enterprises. You have the squad lead, acting as the senior mentor. And finally, the partner, representing the recruiters and HR platforms.
Gates is, well, it's stark. The traditional hiring system is mathematically failing its users across the board. The data shows a 46% drop in graduate tech roles recently. Computer science graduates are facing a 6.1% unemployment rate, which actually outpaces the national average. And institutional trust is effectively gone. 70% of workers openly admit to lying on their resumes.
Yeah, the blueprints are absolutely merciless in their critique of the legacy systems, and rightfully so. Traditional coding boot camps like Le Wigon are out there charging $15,000 in tuition for essentially theoretical knowledge. You build a weather app in a vacuum, and it means nothing to an employer.
Right.
On the other end of the spectrum, you have logistics-only nomad programs like Remote Year. They handle your flights and co-working spaces, but they demand you already possess a high-paying remote job to even participate. It leaves an enormous gap for people trying to break into the industry.
Exactly. It leaves out the people who need the experience the most.
But the Academy's solution to this gap, this is where the alarm bells start ringing for me. Pairing unverified nomadic junior developers with risk-averse businesses to build enterprise-grade AI solutions is a massive liability. The ecosystem relies entirely on burned-out senior mentors and automated AI sandboxes to somehow miraculously bridge the gap between entry-level capability and expert execution. Structurally, that threatens to collapse the value proposition for every user on the platform.
Let's actually walk through the daily reality of that first gate, the builder, because I think the value proposition there is much stronger than you're giving it credit for. We are looking at a demographic that is projected to hit 18.5 million U.S. digital nomads. And there's a massive shift happening towards slowmads. These are professionals who prefer staying in one tech hub for 3 to 12 months rather than country hopping every weekend.
Sure.
Right now, these professionals are trapped in the applicant tracking system, the ATS. It is essentially a resume black hole where algorithms filter out candidates before a human ever sees them. The data shows they have a less than 1% chance of securing an interview through standard corporate portals. Work Travel Academy offers them a complete bypass of that system.
A bypass that involves paying a subscription fee to do corporate labor.
A highly accessible $77 a month subscription. And in return, they enter a 4-week career sprint. Instead of paying thousands of dollars to watch theoretical video tutorials, they are building a verifiable cryptographic audit trail of real-world business projects. The platform calls this agentic proof of work. When they finish, they earn a digital nomad license. Think about what that means for a potential employer. They aren't handing over a PDF that says, "I know Python." They are handing over an immutable, verifiable record that proves they deployed a working AI automation tool for a real business. Plus, the expectation to maintain 99% uptime across 3 different time zones proves their adaptability.
Let me stop you right there. You're framing that 99% uptime across multiple time zones as a feature. From an operational standpoint, if I am a business owner, a junior developer battling a Wi-Fi outage in Bali isn't a test of resilience. It is a massive operational liability.
Well,
You're ignoring the immense pressure this puts on unverified talent. Look at the exact scenario the source material outlines in its own gateway quiz. It presents a situation where a local sponsor's website goes down 10 minutes before a major presentation. The senior mentor happens to be offline. The junior developer is expected to instantly dive into GCP Cloud Run logs, which is basically the back-end server activity tracking, and execute a rollback to the last stable build.
which is a standard DevOps procedure.
It is a standard procedure for an experienced engineer in a stable environment. They are asking a junior to execute a live rollback while navigating the logistical chaos of being in a foreign country. What if they are dealing with a train strike in Italy? What if they are in a co-working space in Lisbon and the power grid drops? Combining the incredibly steep learning curve of AI systems architecture with the inherent unpredictability of international travel sets the builder up for failure. These are individuals paying $77 a month to get their verified status, and they are suddenly solely responsible for a real business's operational continuity. That doesn't just test resilience, it practically guarantees burnout.
That chaos is precisely what the platform considers the ultimate filter. It functions as a real-world Pymetrics test. Traditional companies use these gamified cognitive tests to see how candidates handle stress or solve puzzles. Work Travel Academy uses reality. If a candidate can successfully navigate a server rollback during a Wi-Fi crisis in a foreign country, the employer knows they are hiring a battle-tested operator. It separates the theorists from the practitioners. And that operational reality brings us directly to the massive value provided to the second gate, the sponsor. This is the agency bypass proposition.
I am highly skeptical of the value delivered to the sponsor, given what we just discussed about the juniors handling their data.
Hear me out on the economics first. Currently, 27% of small businesses lack a website simply due to prohibitive costs. Traditional digital agencies demand anywhere from $10,000 to $35,000 for standard integrations. They often start with $20,000 retainers just for theoretical consulting before a single line of code is written. Work Travel Academy allows these small and medium enterprises to sponsor a custom MVP, a minimum viable product, or a direct AI integration in just 4 weeks for a flat $500 fee. We are talking about $5,000 worth of market value delivered for $500. It subsidizes the builder's education while giving the business affordable digital transformation.
The $500 price point is an absolutely incredible hook. No one is disputing the appeal of a 90% discount, but the marketing architecture pushes a narrative of safety and risk-free execution that the operational reality directly contradicts. Let's role-play the actual user journey of a sponsor. Say you have a mid-size accounting firm in Ohio. To even qualify as a sponsor, they have to submit a specific, critical operational bottleneck, maybe their manual invoice processing, and disclose their entire tech stack to the academy.
Right, to ensure the squad can actually build a solution tailored to their exact infrastructure.
Exactly. But we aren't talking about a sandbox exercise where a student builds a dummy weather app. We are talking about integrating experimental AI into their live revenue-generating operations. If a 3-person squad of junior talent delivers a fundamentally flawed AI workflow, that accounting firm suffers real, tangible operational damage. Invoices don't get sent, client data gets mismanaged. The Academy touts a 14-day full refund policy, but if you look closely at the blueprints, that is only valid before the work commences.
There is a money-back guarantee on the prototypes themselves if they fail to meet the spec.
Refunding $500 does absolutely nothing to recover the lost time, the operational disruption, or the reputational damage to an SME that desperately needed a reliable integration. You are asking real, vulnerable local businesses to act as guinea pigs for unverified talent under the guise of an arbitrage deal.
They're not acting as guinea pigs, because the technology stack mitigates the core risk before the business ever touches the final product. The platform utilizes a system called SkillBridge AI hybrid grading. The junior's code doesn't just get pushed live into the accounting firm's servers blindly. The builders work within what are called firecracker micro-VMs. To explain that simply, it is like a bomb squad containment box. It is a tiny, highly secure virtual environment. The code is executed and tested safely using Vertex AI, Google's machine learning platform, to guarantee that it actually functions. If the junior writes a script that crashes, it crashes the sandbox. It doesn't touch the sponsor's actual live business data.
Okay. A secure testing environment prevents the junior from accidentally deleting the company's entire database. Sure. I will grant you that the micro VMs are a solid technical guardrail against catastrophic server failure. But a sandbox doesn't solve the core business risk of bad logic. What if the code executes perfectly in the virtual machine, but the business logic is totally wrong? What if the AI miscategorizes 1,000 invoices, but technically doesn't crash? The automated grading can't catch a fundamental misunderstanding of the client's business needs.
Which is exactly why the automated grading is only one half of the equation. This ecosystem isn't just throwing 22-year-olds at local businesses and hoping an AI catches their mistakes. This brings us to the crucial third gate, the squad lead. These junior teams are directly supervised by senior architects.
And this is where the entire balancing act gets truly precarious.
Let's look at the data on these senior developers first. The blueprints highlight a terrifying 80% burnout rate among senior programmers across the industry. The peak burnout age is hitting as young as 25. You have highly skilled software architects who end up trapped in middle management at large corporations. They spend 80% of their day updating Jira tickets, basically digital administrative chores, rather than doing actual, high-impact architectural work. It's like being on a factory assembly line, but for code. Work Travel Academy is specifically designed to cure this cog in the machine feeling.
Curing burnout by having them manage nomadic juniors across global time zones?
While offering them geographic freedom, autonomy, and a highly lucrative 20% revenue share on the sponsored projects they oversee. Think about the daily reality for this squad lead. Because the SkillBridge AI handles all the syntax checking, all the missing commas, and basic logic grunt work inside those micro VMs, the mentor doesn't have to be a glorified proofreader. They can focus purely on high-level architecture. They get to review the structural integrity of the project. They provide meaningful stewardship to shape the next generation of AI talent, and they escape corporate bureaucracy, all while earning passive income from wherever they want to live in the world.
The concept of a revenue share architect sounds incredibly appealing on a marketing slide. Leaving a stressful corporate job to sit on a beach and earn passive income while an AI does the grading is a great pitch. But let's look at the practical reality of that model. Managing junior developers is notoriously difficult in a standard office environment where everyone is sitting in the same room. Managing asynchronous, nomadic junior developers scattered across the globe is inherently stressful.
But the mentor isn't micromanaging their daily schedule. The platform handles the sprint structure.
Junior's project fails to satisfy the sponsor's operational bottleneck. The mentor's promised passive income simply disappears. The source material itself notes that the Academy recommends transitioning away from full co-founder equity models toward a revenue share, specifically to protect the sponsor from bad execution. They know the risk is there. But for the mentor, shifting from a corporate office to herding inexperienced remote talent doesn't eliminate burnout. It just changes the venue of the stress.
You are assuming the junior developers require constant hand-holding, but the 4-week career sprint is heavily structured to prevent that.
Let's walk through that structure. You have a mentor sitting in Cape Town trying to coordinate a server rollback with a panicking junior in Lisbon for a client operating in Ohio. That is not a low-stress, passive income lifestyle. That is a logistical nightmare. And if these mentors burn out from the chaos and disengage from the platform, the crucial human quality assurance layer collapses entirely. If the squad leads leave, sponsors get bad code, the builders don't learn anything, and the entire verification economy crumbles.
The entire ecosystem is designed as a self-correcting verification protocol. You are focusing heavily on the friction points, but look at the synthesis of how these four gates interact when the system operates as designed. This includes the partners, the recruiters and HR platforms who eventually hire these builders. Right now, the hiring market is facing a massive noise crisis. Anyone can use AI to generate a flawless cover letter and boilerplate code for a GitHub portfolio. Recruiters have zero signal. The partner gate receives a transparent database of talent whose skills are empirically proven in the real world.
It only solves the noise crisis if the signal, the agentic proof of work, is actually reliable. And that reliability requires flawless execution from the mentors and the sandboxes, which we've established is highly vulnerable.
The execution is validated by the market itself. It is a closed-loop system of value creation. The sponsor lacks the capital for digital transformation, so they provide the builder with a real-world testing ground. The builder desperately needs experience, so they provide the mentor with leverage to scale their architectural skills. The mentor's oversight provides the partner with a verified, risk-free talent pool. If the builder successfully navigates the sprint, they earn that cryptographically verified digital nomad license. The sponsor gets a $5,000 custom AI workflow for a $500 investment. The mentor gets a 20% cut of that, plus potential passive revenue share if the tool monetizes. The distinct needs of these target audiences elegantly solve one another's pain points.
The verification economy is undeniably a visionary concept. I will absolutely concede that replacing the easily manipulated PDF resume with an immutable audit trail of real work is the direction the tech industry needs to head. But the practical execution outlined in these blueprints demands an unrealistic level of flawless performance from every single participant.
Unrealistic or simply rigorous?
Unrealistic given the human elements involved. You have unverified juniors dealing with the immense cognitive load of AI systems architecture while simultaneously handling the inherent logistical chaos of international travel. You have small businesses taking on genuine operational risk for a $500 discount, banking their digital transformation on prototypes that might not scale. And you have senior developers trading Jira fatigue for the precariousness of asynchronous nomad management. The over-reliance on automated micro-VM grading to bridge these massive execution gaps puts the promised value to sponsors and mentors at serious risk. The architecture is incredibly ambitious, but it is fundamentally fragile.
While we obviously diverge on the operational viability and the fragility of this specific model, there is a fundamental convergence here regarding the macroeconomic context. The data driving this multi-sided marketplace is unequivocal. The traditional PDF resume is effectively dead.
Absolutely. The junior wipeout is a stark reality right now. When generative AI can instantly produce a flawless resume and write acceptable entry-level code, the trust in traditional recruitment metrics evaporates entirely. Employers have virtually no way to distinguish between someone who actually understands systems architecture and someone who is just really good at prompting a chatbot.
Exactly. The market desperately requires verified agentic proof of work rather than theoretical bootcamp certificates or bloated four-year university degrees. The traditional pathways are mathematically failing both the talent looking for work and the businesses looking to hire them. We will leave it to the listener to reflect on whether this specific multi-sided marketplace, with its interlocking gates of builders, sponsors, mentors, and partners, represents the true, sustainable future of remote work and hiring. There is a vast amount of fascinating detail in the source material regarding these go-to-market blueprints and how the technology scales. We encourage you to explore it further to form your own conclusions.
Thank you for joining us for this analysis.
Until next time.